Hi goddesses, and welcome to today's tutorial, which is all about doing mixed dots on your nails. Now when we talk about mixed dots today, I mean dots of a mixed size rather than a mixed colour, but we will be coming to that in a week or two so you can play to your heart's content. So just before we start, what have I done so far and what have we got going on? Well, we have got my paw, which is painted on the thumb, the index and the middle with one of the gorgeous new Cadillac polishes, and this one's called Never Too Late. Absolutely stunning. It's a lovely periwinkle with lots of hollow and shimmer in it. And then for contrast, I've got a navy polish by Nella Milano. It's supposed to be a one coat stamping polish, and for me it's the best navy I've got. Extremely saturated. You can see over here I have my blobbing mat, which we're going to use, and then I have two sized dotting tools. I don't know why this one was over here, but anyway. So these are the sizes that we're going to use today. So we've got there my very biggest dotting tool size, and here not quite the smallest but pretty close to the smallest. So if we're working on a scale of 0 to 10, this one would be a 10, this one probably would be a 2 or a 3. You can use whichever size you want, but we're going for contrast, so make sure that whichever two you use, they're going to give you that level. The temptation is to go, oh, I'll use this one and then I'll flip it over and I'll use that end. Well, sometimes that doesn't give you enough contrast. So I'm going to put those over there. I'm also going to be a little bit artificial just to get closer to the camera. I'm going to lean on this little box so that you can see what I'm doing as I go around the nails. So my first thing that I'm going to do, just amuse yourselves because this is not going to be in focus, I have got my Cadillac blue on my first three nails. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a blob of the navy polish on my blobbing mat. I'm going to take my biggest tool and we're going to blob on the nails. Now, whereas last week it was all about uniform placing, today is about random placing and really trying to not accidentally make what you've done look like you've been playing with a set of dice, because sometimes that is one of the unintentional effects when you try and use two different sizes. So we're just going to fill in some spaces, but try and make it look, it's probably a bit more uniform than I would like, but try and make it look like it hasn't got a pattern. Okay, so let's move to this one. And again, we're using the technique I showed you last week, which is blob and then dip straight back in your polish so that you can keep the size of your dots uniform. Okay, so that's how that one's ended up. And then for the middle nail, and you can start to see now the polish is running thin, so my blobs are getting smaller, so let's just do something about that. So another blob going on the blobbing mat. Just to point out as well, before I've started doing this, I have added top coat to my nails, only because I find sometimes unintentionally with a dotting tool you can make a dent in your nail, and I don't like it when that happens. So I'm now just looking at those three nails. I'm looking to see whether my spacing can be enhanced at all, whether there's anything to do differently. Okay, and I'm going to put this dotting tool down and pick up the small one so that you can see how I fill the dots in. So this again is about being random, not too uniform. You're not trying to make flower shapes. You're not trying to fill in every little gap. What you can do here though is take advantage of the fact that as you blob, each time your size of dot is getting smaller, so you can be quite clever and make it look like you've deliberately got smaller size dots going on by intention. Right, let me just squeeze one in here off camera, and then we probably want another one there. So that's now how it's starting to look, quite random. There might be room for another one just there. Okay, so let's lob along on this one. I'm going to link to you in the blog post, and you've got to check her out. Emma of Em's Little Corner. She is the absolute master of this dotting technique. She did a fabulous tutorial a couple of weeks ago as well, where she linked to lots of amazing manis that she'd done. Oh, can you see I got a bit stringy there, didn't I? And I really would suggest that you go and check her out, because she's amazing. You could have done this pattern today with the same colour on the base for all of the nails. I've chosen to mix it up a little bit just because it's a nice simple way of adding a little bit of variety, not too taxing on the brain, which I always find is an advantage once you get to the end of the week. Okay, so now I'm looking at those nails, and I just want to check to me, are they pleasing? Is the spacing what I want? There's something on this thumb that I don't like, and I can't quite work out what it is. I think it looks a little bit too uniform. I think that's my problem with it. This nail maybe can take a teeny one there, and that one has turned out pretty well. So we're now going to do exactly the same, and just reverse the process. You might not want to stay and watch this bit all to the end, so if you're thinking that you might log off in a minute, let me just share a couple more things with you. What I'm going to do next, after I've done these dots, is I'll wait for my mani to dry. And I will then top coat it and clean it up. You might be able to tell that I didn't clean up after my initial painting of the nails. Some people think you should clean up kind of between every single coat that you put on your nails. Personally, I'm in the life's too short club, so I tend not to bother with that. So I do all my cleanup at the end. And I don't know what it is, but sometimes, no, let's face it, always, the darker the polish I use, the more cleanup I have to do. I really don't get it. Okay, so, oh, where are you? Okay, so we've done those two nails. So, just like we did before, we're now going to refresh the blob. Take the smaller dotting tool, fill in those gaps, and then, as I said, we'll go and put some top coat on it, and it should look super pretty by then. The version of this that I haven't done, which I really like, is when you see it with rainbow colour gradation across the nails. It looks spectacular when it's done like that, and I will put a version of that in the post that you can see it. Sorry, it's proving quite hard to get Littlefinger in focus and in a point where I can actually see what I'm doing as well. Okay, so that's all the nails done. As I said, I'm now off to let it dry, let it top coat. I'll then take pictures and it'll then be up in the post. Simples. Bye for now.